Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Shea Station podcast. It is episode 81 of our pod. It's Monday, July 11th. The Mets have just split a series with the Miami Marlins at home, and coming up is the biggest set of the year yet as the Mets travel to Atlanta. I'm one of your hosts, Jolly Olive, aka Jack. Joining me, as always, is Jerry Blevins, and also joining us is an invader from Braves country. Peter Moylan is our guest for today's episode. Peter, how are you doing, first and foremost?
I'm great, and I come as a friend. I promise you. This is just content, and it's going to be brilliant. Trust me.
I love it. Yeah, we talked about it beforehand, but you are the Roogie to my Loogie.
That's right.
It is a pleasure to have you on. You'll be in the booth
tonight
for these games, correct?
For these games, yeah. 3 games
Awesome.
in the booth. Can't wait. Frenchie took them off, so I mean, thank you, Jeff. He's got to do a TBS game on Tuesday, so
Okay.
yeah. So
you're getting Max versus Max tonight. That's big.
Max, exactly. I was going to do a movie poster style because of the Hollywood All-Star Game thing and the Maximus and then the Mad Max posters just colliding. I mean, it was beautiful, but I can't Photoshop. So
I was just going to say that sounds amazing in concept, but execution and graphic design, yeah. You're going to have to delegate that out to the minions. Yeah,
correct.
Well, we're happy to have you on, man. We'll talk a little bit about the Atlanta Braves, but first we have a 4-game set to discuss with the Marlins, and we are recapping. Of course, I get games 2 and games 4. This has been a classic all season for me. Just sweet love fest for Blev on the 0-2 on a split series. Good stuff.
Yeah, this has been, I don't know, Peter, how much you're in tune with this, but this has been a consistent theme of win, loss, win for the Mets pretty much all year. The 4-game sets, Jerry gets tortured, man. 2 losses.
I'm sorry, Jerry. It's tough to win a 4-game.
It's okay. It makes for a more exciting 3-game set with the Atlanta Braves, so I'm for it.
Absolutely. All right, I think we'll dive right in, right? We'll get through these pretty quick. All right, I got game 1, as always, and game 1 is usually a win, and this was a shining example of that. The Mets welcomed the Marlins back into town after that really stressful series against the Reds. Probably shouldn't have been that stressful. It's already gone from my memory. I've already forgotten about it. They got started early in this one in the 3rd inning. Doubles from J.D. Davis and Brandon Nimmo opened the scoring. Lindor added an RBI single to make it an early 2-0 Mets lead. Later in the 4th inning, 3 singles in a row by Mark Canha, Jeff McNeil, and J.D. Davis added another run. And then James McCann, who we're going to discuss a little bit more later in the episode, broke things open with a 3-run homer off Daniel Castano for a 6-0 lead. He needed that. The Mets poured it on against Jimmy Yacobonis as well. It was a Joey Wendell era. Mark Canha got on again because that's what he does, and McNeil's walk loads the bases with nobody out. And J.D. Davis, probably no other guy on this Mets roster that could have used that homer more besides maybe Dom Smith, cranks a grand slam to left field, his 3rd homer of the year. 10-0 Mets. All the while, Trevor Williams is having his best start of the year of, his entire tenure as a Met. He goes 7 shutout innings against the Marlins, 2 hits allowed, no walks, which was huge, 7 strikeouts on 83 pitches. He had 6 1-2-3 innings. His ERA is down to 3.76, and he completes 7 innings for the first time since August of 2020. It had been almost 2 years. Jake Reed, he was solid in 2 innings of relief. He shut down the Marlins and completed the shutout. He earns a demotion to AAA for his efforts, as always. J.D. Davis and James McCann, they carried the offense in this one. 4 hits, 8 RBI combined in the 8 and 9 hole. Multi-hit games for Starling Marte and Mark Canha as well. The Mets go 5 for 10 with runners in scoring position, so that was a very welcome sight. So they win game 1 10-0, but they kind of used up a lot of that offense in game 1. It started to show a little bit in game 2.
Yeah, Trevor Williams looked great. Looked like he could go further, go deeper. Didn't need it. J.D. Davis needed that grand slam. That was nice. That brings us to game 2. That was Chris Bassett coming off a long COVID, stint where he said some things about COVID, which I will not cover here. But this set him in line for his 3rd straight start against the Marlins versus Pablo Lopez, who the Mets have had his number for a little bit. Let's see if it continued. Top of the 2nd, 2 singles, and then a K in between those. Brian De La Cruz doubles. That would be a theme because he did that 3 times, putting the Marlins on the board 1-0. Chris Bassett would escape the 2nd, but in the bottom of the 3rd, answering right away is Brandon Nimmo. On an 0-2 pitch, he deposited it into the upper deck in the right field bleachers, making it 1-1. That brings us to the top of the 5th. I foreshadowed it before, but De La Cruz opens it with a double. followed by a Miggy Rojas single that puts us at first and third. But Bassett holds him to 1 run on only a Joey Wendell sac fly, makes it 2-1 Marlins in the 5th. Brings us to the top of the 7th. This De La Cruz guy hits another double, a 1-out one. That would end Bassett's night. In steps Drew Smith. He is really nice to Bassett, ends his night at 6 1/3 with only those 2 runs scored. He's not so kind to himself because John Birdie starts off with a double and Garrett Cooper homers off the foul pole and right to make it 4-1 Mets. That's another home run allowed by Drew Smith, which we might have to touch on a little bit. But the bottom of the 8th, Lindor pulls the Mets within 2 with a home run to left. They would later load the bases, and in steps Eduardo Escobar, who promptly hits a lazy fly ball to center field to end his very tough night. He goes 0 for 4, leaves 7 men on base alone. That would be it. The Marlins would add an insurance run on a sac suicide squeeze, a little safety squeeze. It would be 5-2. The Mets go 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position, leaving 10 men on base. And again, Eduardo Escobar had a rough one, leaving 7 men on all by himself. Mets lose 5-2.
This was the game I was in attendance for. Both home runs came right near the JM crew. We didn't get our hands on them. Pretty huge dud of a game. Luckily, it was heightened by, the friends and the fans I was able to meet there. But yeah, complete dud in game 2. That set up game 3. Game 3 was a big day. Keith Hernandez's number finally retired.
Well deserved.
Up in the rafters. The Mets did an awesome ceremony. Probably the best they've done for any of the guys they've retired. Keith gave a very touching speech. It was a huge emotional day. He returned to the booth in the 2nd inning. It got off to a rough start, though. Cookie, I don't know if you remember last year, he also started the game where they retired Jerry Kuzman's number. And in the 1st inning, he gave up a leadoff home run on the first pitch. So I thought, okay, let's not repeat that a little bit this year. The Marlins do load the bases with nobody out. We thought we were getting a run scored on a double play. James McCann's catcher interference negated that and loaded the bases instead. But that kind of worked out because he gets Jesus Sanchez to strike out, and then Avisel Garcia leans over on that changeup and grounds into an easy double play. Cookie gets out of that frame with no runs scored. Pete Alonso finally gets the monkey off his shoulder and hits a huge solo shot for the 1-0 lead. The Mets were hitless through their first 11 outs against Braxton Garrett, another left-handed starting pitcher, so it's not very surprising. James McCann and Starling Marte both depart with early injuries in this one. McCann is hitting the IL with an oblique. Starling Marte is avoiding the IL. He's day-to-day, so that's good. Cookie looked strong for the 2nd start in a row, which is very nice to see. The Mets need him. 5 2/3 innings, 2 earned runs, 7 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, no home runs on 92 pitches. I think his line was a little bit, his performance was a little bit better than his line, but he got tagged with some inherited runners. After 2 singles and a walk, Brian Anderson tied the game with a double in the 6th inning. Nimmo's relay to Guillorme guns down the go-ahead run at home, so Seth Lugo comes in for Cookie. He does let up a run on the wild pitch. That makes it 2-1 Marlins in the game. He comes on, gets 2 other outs in the next inning. The Mets get 2 runs right back on a 2-out, 2-run homer from Francisco Lindor that just stayed fair alongside the left field foul pole. Pretty nice celebration by him there, but that wasn't sick as Jesus Aguilar takes the 0-2 pitch from Adam Ottavino in the 8th inning and hits a solo home run to tie the game at 3. In the bottom half of that inning, Guillorme doubles. He moves over on a sacrifice and Nimmo walks, all with 1 out, so runners on the corners. The Mets fail to convert again. A McNeil flyout and a Lindor groundout squander that chance. Diaz comes in, does what he does. 1-2-3 inning, strikes out 2, but Anthony Bass matches him by striking out the side to send the game to extras. Nino gets a nice pickoff later on after a John Birdie single in the 10th. There was a throwing error by Lindor that allowed the go-ahead run to score. So that was kind of an ugly play there. The Mets head into the bottom of the 10th, down by 1 run. They strike out with Eduardo Escobar and Luis Guillorme to send the game to its final out. Nito dribbles one down the third base line, gets under Brian Anderson's glove. It's graciously ruled a double. He gets all the way to second base with that speed. So the Mets tie the game, and then Nimmo hits a comebacker right back to Tanner Scott. It's bobbled, it's picked up, it's thrown away. Not even close. Nito comes around to score. The Mets get a magic win on Keith Hernandez's day. It's the first extra inning walk-off for the Mets on an error since Game 6 of the 1986 World Series. A little bit of magic there. The Mets get a stolen win in Game 3. 5-4 is your final.
Your classic pitcher error walk-off Yeah, they go in the 10th inning. First and foremost, what an awesome ceremony. You mentioned it. They really did justice to Keith Hernandez, who, he's already in the Hall of Fame for the Mets. Then he gets his number retired in the Circle of Honor. That's amazing. Should be in the actual Hall of Fame. Peter seems to have a question. Yes, Peter Moylan.
Why did it take this long?
New ownership.
Yep.
So that's the only thing I could say is the previous ownership may not have felt the same way. And there's also, you kind of want to give him a little bit of gap of playing. I guess, 25 years or whatever it's been is enough.
Just in case he wants to make a comeback.
Yeah. Okay. Just in case you don't want to, you want to bring the fans back. It took forever. They let Tom Seaver, do it posthumously. That's why I mentioned something about the Dodgers actually putting a statue up for Sandy Koufax while he's alive and still capable of appreciating it. So it was nice to see them honor Keith Hernandez. He gave a very Keith Hernandez heartfelt speech. He did a great job. It was an awesome ceremony.
Yeah, very touching ceremony. And like Peter said, very long overdue. Sometimes at the end of the day, you just got to be happy that these things end up happening in the first place. But yeah, new ownership changes a lot of things. I think Steve Cohen probably feels really good about that because it's kind of tailor-made for his success to do these things that should have been done a long time ago. So good for Keith, good for Steve, good for the Mets.
That was a nice win by the Mets. Is another one, coming off a weird squeaky win in game like this, in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
We win this one on a weird bottom of the 10th, 2 outs, and then end up scoring 2, whatever the case may be. You'll take a W. Let me get rid of my lifesaver. Like a pro. That brings us to game 4. It was the pitching duo matchup. It lived up to its hype. It said Mr. Taijuan Walker, who might be the best pitcher that nobody really thinks is doing as well as he is because he is dominating against Sandy Alcantara, who, sorry, Max Fried, is the best pitcher in the National League, arguably in baseball right now, to Mr. Shane McClanahan in the American League. I still give the nod to Sandy. I think he's the best pitcher in baseball right this second. And again, sorry to Max Fried, who was my Yiddish professor during my tenure with the Braves in 19. Great person, beautiful left-handed curveball, which we'll touch upon later. I'm a big fan. But that sets us up. It was pretty much as advertised through the first 3 innings. That brings us to the top of the 4th. After a hit by pitch and a single, they get this amazing double play from Lindor to Guillorme to Alonso, or I think it was to Smith at first, whatever the case may be. It was a beautiful backhand by Lindor, who turns. Guillorme used those beautiful hands to turn it. It was a lovely double play. He escapes the top of the 4th. In the bottom of the 4th, the Mets get their own 2 runners on base once, but it was scattered and Sandy did his Sandy stuff. The Mets don't score there. Brings us to the bottom of the 6th. After an error and a walk, the Sandman gets Lindor to hit into a double play and then Alonso to pop out to first base, which was really our only big threat of that game against Sandy. And we squander that. Top of the 7th, a John Birdie single who seems to get a hit every single at-bat against the Mets. He steals second base, he steals a bunch of bases, but Taijuan Walker really holds runners well. Kind of an unsung part of his game is his ability to control the runs. You get a Garrett Cooper walk. He gets Jesus Aguilar to pop out to center field. Jesus Sanchez pops out to shortstop, and then a huge strikeout of Brian Anderson to end the inning. He gets fired up there. He has an absolutely stellar game. That brings Taijuan Walker. He was 7 shutout, 3 hits, 1 walk, 7 punch outs. Drew Smith follows up with a clean inning of his own. Edwin Diaz has a clean 9th, and that brings us to the 10th after Alcantara threw 7 shutout, scattered 6 hits, only 4 strikeouts and 1 walk. In the 10th, they end up scoring 2 runs after 2 outs against Tommy Hunter. Billy Hamilton's on second, steals third, and then Nito throws the ball into left field, and it starts this little snowball where they score 2 runs. The Mets don't score. They lose 2-0. It's another game 2 loss, but it's game 4. Feels like another game 2 loss for your boy Jay Blev.
Yeah,
it hurts deep for me. The Mets split I feel like it was a personal attack, but we did get to watch beautiful pitching between Sandy Alcantara, and I just love watching Taijuan pitch because he does it in a very fun, methodical way. It was so fast of a game. It was beautiful, but we lost 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, carbon copy game 2 performance in game 4. 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position, 10 men left on base. And you got another great starting pitcher performance that kind of gets squandered. Mets split a series that they easily could have lost 3 or 4 in, with that game 3 kind of just going their way by the way of magic. So they split that, they get 2 wins, and now they are set up to travel to Truist Park and go take on those Atlanta Braves for the first time since May, I believe, right? Where we split that 4-game set with them at Citi Field. So.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to make a quick note for Sandy Alcantara. So he went 7 again. He hasn't gone under 7 innings since May 6th, where he went 4 2/3 against the Padres and allowed 2 runs. This guy is on another level right now, a true workhorse who's dominating, throwing 101 in the 7th inning. Just crazy stuff.
Peter, I got a question for you.
Shoot.
Who's starting the NL side of the All-Star game, pitcher-wise?
I would think Kershaw.
Really?
Yeah, I just feel like with all the pomp that's happened so far, I think they're probably just going to try and make it as movie star-ish as they can and just have it all be all the storylines be there. I think Alcantara probably deserves to start it. I think Max could probably make a case as well, but Alcantara has just been, like you said, Lev, he's gone back to like late 90s starters where you can literally pencil it in for 7 or 8 every single week. It's unheard of.
It reminds me of like the early, like maybe late 2000s, 2010 version of Justin Verlander,
right? Where
he was just overpowering for so long, just dominating. That's interesting. You said Kershaw because, being in LA, the All-Star game, I figured it might be Tony Gonsolin,
right?
Who's having an absolute sub-2 ERA, but Kershaw makes sense. We'll see. I think it might be Gonsolin myself. That's who I would bet on if I were a betting man.
But, you're not a betting man? I'm also not a betting man, Jerry.
Yeah, it's not for me. Like, I don't mind it. I'll play some fantasy football and I'll bet on that. But I don't like to gamble. It's not my favorite thing.
How did we get separated at birth?
I'm not sure. I think we're getting reunited, the Rugi and the Loogie connection.
Fair enough.
Am I mistaken in saying that Snit will pick who starts because he gets the managerial duty?
Yes.
Okay. So,
with conference from and a lot of assistance, I'm sure.
A lot of influence.
Yeah, MLB will be like, so Snit, we were sure it's either Gonsolin or Kershaw.
We love who you picked, but we thought personally.
Yeah, our boy Trevor Plouffe is a huge, Catterday. That's Gonsolin. He's got like the weird cat fur cleats or whatever the case may be. I think he's been lobbying for him. But yeah, we'll see. You want to get to apples of our eye for the so we pick like the apple of our eye is somebody that stood out for Jolly and myself for the past performance of the last series. So do you want to go first? I'll let you go first. First of all, for those of you guys just listening, he is right now. Jolly is every bit on vacation at the beach once again. I don't know if you guys remember, he was on vacation, just a week ago. Now he's on vacation again. He's full bearded.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's rocking a tank top, showing a little bit of chest hair. He's in full beach mode right now. And
I still showed up. All right. I did my part, got the write-up done. But we're beach bumming. Yeah, so we're doing the apple of our eye, creatively named by, of course, Jerry Blevins. In case Peter didn't know, I got to give you credit. Come on.
I appreciate it.
Offensive performance, we're kind of tough in this one. Lindor goes 4 for 19. He does hit 2 homers. He gets 3 RBIs. Mark Canha, always doing what he does, 4 for 12, 2 walks, a double. Always all over the place,
solid,
3 runs scored.
Just solid,
very
absolutely.
Solid player. Worth every single penny for sure. And then JD Davis had a nice offensive standout. He only goes 3 for 8 because he plays 2 games. He has a double, a home run, 5 RBI, 3 runs, 2 walks. A good performance by JD. Nice little turnaround. I think we're both picking pitchers in this one, Jerry, if I'm not mistaken. I'm giving mine to Trevor Williams. So claps are on for 2, Will. Taijuan needed a nice bounce back. He's had a couple rough starts in a row. A lot of people were like, okay, he might be more comfortable in the bullpen. That's where his best performances have come from. And then he comes out and he absolutely shoves against the Marlins lineup. That does admittedly struggle, but, still some potent weapons in there as well. But 7 innings, 2 hits, no walks, 7 strikeouts, his first start of 7 innings in 2 years. That's something he needed for his confidence boost. And he's still someone we're going to lean on for the time being until DeGrom returns, because this is a team that I don't think is going to trade for a starter. So Trevor Williams is that guy right at the back end, ready to fill in. So good performance for him.
I completely agree. I think, and it came in game 1 where we really needed to take game 1. We've been doing a lot of winning the first game of the series. But for Trevor Williams to stand up and just have a stellar outing, it was dominant. So that was great. He well deserved.
Yep.
Mine, as you aforementioned, I am also giving mine to a pitcher. His name is Taijuan Walker. He is the apple of my eye. Pure dominance. I don't want to harp on it too long because we have to talk about the upcoming Braves series, but Taijuan, 7 shutout, scattered 3 hits, had a walk, 7 punch-outs. He's been doing it all year. In big situations, he's really elevated his game because I watch him use that splitty and that slider. He sets guys up. He has that 4-seam ride. Ron Darling on the broadcast had a beautiful combination where it was 2-2, and he threw a fastball up and away for a ball, and it was a good one, and he took it, and he goes, well, now he has him set up for that split, and he threw a split on the outside corner, a way that just bounced down, and he got a little sword half swing. That's what he's been doing all year. He's been able to add a whole new element with that splitty slider combination where he can think and be a little bit more cerebral on top of that power fastball. I wouldn't call it a power fastball, but it gets on you. Just stellar, quick paced, great defense behind him because you can stay in the game. He's the apple of my eye. I want to give it to an offensive person. I really do, but I don't think that they're. Yeah, we need it. We need somebody in this series to step up.
You can wait. You can wait 3 days.
Yeah, 3 more days.
So I thought we'd preface everything about Mets Braves by just, Peter, can I get a Braves state of the union? We've been following along. We know that they've been winning a lot of games, but I don't get to catch the Braves playing every night. I'd like to try not to because they just win all the time.
Yeah.
But what's been working? What is the recipe for success? How do you beat the Mets going into this series?
That's a great question. And the beauty of what's happening with this Braves team right now is that it's a different person in a different way every single night. And it sounds cliche to say it, but whatever it takes for them to win on that daily, nightly basis, they just figure it out. Whether it's a starting pitcher going 7 innings or whether it's a bullpen of Jesse Chavez, Dylan Lee, Darren O'Day, and AJ Minter coming in and shutting down a team for 5 innings. It just doesn't matter what has to happen. It happens. Look at the names that we're throwing out there right now and look at the job that they're getting done. It's an unusual feeling around the team. It's very relaxed. It's a very casual environment. If you watch them play, if you watch them during the game, there's not a lot of tension. And I think that comes down from Snit. Jerry, you know what Snit personality is like.
Absolutely.
So I just think guys are allowed to be themselves and they're having fun, and it helps when they got on that roll where they went on that run sort of to turn the season around. Like you guys, we got stuck in a rut last year where it was 50-50 win-loss for 20-something games in a row, and we just could not get off that spinning wheel.
Yeah.
And then eventually, something clicked, and right now something has clicked. We're getting some pieces back that are going to be crucial as well. But the starting rotation, honestly, has just solidified. And Michael Harris.
Yeah.
When Michael Harris came up.
Michael Harris II, that's who I was going to ask you about. Can you introduce him to Mets fans a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So we've heard about Michael Harris II last couple of spring trainings about the bat. It's always been about the bat tool. And then this year, again, comes into spring training, hits 3-something and plays really good defense, and then goes down to Double-A to start the season and just goes bananas. He's running down balls in center field. He's hitting everything. He went on a 32-game on-base streak to start the season. So really open up some eyes. the decision was made when we started struggling defensively. We went on a road trip and we just made a couple of costly errors in the outfield that cost us games. Snit said that's enough. And they made the decision to bring up Michael Harris just to shore up the defense a little bit. So he goes to center field, obviously young, 21 years old, just trying to make an impression. And he's just, a couple of quality at bats, but nothing special. And then we go on a road trip and he just gets his first knock, gets his first homer, goes bananas. And then he starts to get comfortable, starts making a couple of diving plays in the outfield, comes up, makes some throws. Acuna's comfortable in right field. Duvall goes to left field. The center field is being taken care of by Andrew Jr. And it's like he's in the 9-hole hitting 340 right now. So
it's wonderful.
Yeah, it just worked out so well. I know everyone was sort of waiting for him to come up and struggle, but you can see the progression through the at-bats. You can see the progression. He'll take his time first at bat, he'll see pitches, and then he'll make the adjustments as the game goes on. And he can tell the way that the pitching staffer is attacking him, and he can adjust from an at-bat to at-bat sort of it's crazy, man. It's like he's 21 years old and he's doing things that he shouldn't really be doing. And it's really
he's
fun.
the youngest player in baseball right now.
Correct.
And he's doing things. So there's been a lot of talk about the Mets bringing up a few prospects. Francisco Alvarez, the catching prospect, Mark Vientos, who's a DH third base, first base guy. You got that ring right up there. That's a beautiful ring. If you guys are watching, that thing is incredible. By the way, the ceremony when you got presented your ring, one of my favorite things of the whole beginning ceremonies was them presenting you with the ring. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Well deserved too. But I love bringing up a young prospect in a well-established team that's looking to contend, because you can hide a young hitter easier than you can a pitcher, which is where Kyle Wright is. He came up on a contending team looking to win, and you can't get your lumps in while you're trying to win ball games as an organization, because every time you stink as a pitcher, it's a loss for your team. Whereas if you go 0 for 4, as a hitter, you have 8 other guys in the lineup that can pick you up. So I think the deepest lineup that you guys have, allowing Michael Harris hitting 340 to bat ninth, and get those, watch a pitcher for 8 at bats before he has to face, is so huge for his development. You've really brought him along in such a positive way, and in a really fun environment with the coaching staff that you guys have there to develop, to stay fun, but to take the pressure off and to continue to get better. So it's a good environment for Michael Harris II, who I hear is just an awesome person off the field as well.
The instant athleticism that's been given to the lineup and our defensive team is so evident, and there was a game the other day where we hit back-to-back singles, and it was Michael Harris, Acuna, Dansby, Swanson, 3 singles in a row, and it was like a track meet. It was really fun to watch. We've got used to watching these big boppers, and it's the game's changing. The game's shifting back a little bit. Strikes the key again. Contact seems to be key again. So you have, like, Duvall is an underrated defensive player in general. I feel like he always gets overlooked because he's a home run guy. He's a big, muscle guy. So he gets, I think, underappreciated for how good he is. But with Acuna in right, Harris in center, and Duvall in left, that is some amazing coverage. And what it also does, you have Dansby Swanson at shortstop. Yep.
You have Austin Riley, who's also really good at third base. You have Matt Olson, who is just as good, I would say, as Freddie Freeman at first, Gold Glove caliber, maybe even a touch better.
Right.
And then you have 2 all-star catchers with, Contreras, who goes in as a DH filling in for Harper. You have Travis d'Arnaud, who Mets fans are very familiar with, coming into his own, one of my favorite humans on the planet. Who has filled in at second base for Ozzie?
Orlando Arcia has come in. Go check out the highlights from game 2 days ago. We've lost nothing defensively with Arcia coming in there. He's a former shortstop, and he's making plays that, if I'm honest, Ozzie may not be able to make because of the strength of Arcia's arm.
Wow.
But yeah, look, as far as we're obviously going to welcome Ozzie back with open arms, but we don't lose anything defensively, which is such a huge key at that position too.
Have either of you heard who the new platoon share with Orlando Arcia is as of
we
today?
have.
Yeah.
It feels personal. The
It
Braves
feels a little personal
like,
that it happened right now.
Does it?
The Braves have been so like, we just won the World Series. It's not about the Mets. It's about us. And then right before you guys play New York, you sign old Robbie Cano.
Like, is that a coincidence? I don't know.
Look, we just need a left-handed bat. It's as simple as that.
That's all it is.
We need a left-handed bat, and Robbie became available. Why wouldn't you try it?
You think they're going to platoon Cano a little bit with him and Ozuna at the DH spot back and forth, or is Zuna just DHing, or is he going to be off the bench?
I think Rosario and Ozuna are going to platoon that left field DHE type spot rather than Cano. But look, you may see that there.
I mean,
this is our first
personal,
day,
so they might just start him, bat him third, and see
if he can just strike lightning in a bottle for one series.
He would too, That's the thing. So we're gonna we'll jump in. Do you want to get into it, Jolly? The preview here.
Before I do,
yeah,
guys, if you're a Mets or a Braves fan and you want to come banter with the Roogie and the Loogie and the other guy, you should come to the All-Star Game VIP party. Guys, we're going to be in LA next week for All-Star Week. Jomboy Media crew, they're coming out. Come out to our VIP event at Boomtown Brewery. That's a fun name. On Tuesday, July 19th from 2:30 to 4:30 to celebrate. There's limited tickets that are selling out fast. I think only about half are left, maybe even less. 2 free drink tickets, a free Jam All-Star Week t-shirt, giveaways and prizes, photo ops, Q&A sessions, and more. There's a link in our show description on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. If you want to come out and hang, I think it's going to be a really good time. I'm really looking forward to it. I haven't gotten to meet a lot of like diehard JM fans. So I think, we're all feeling the same way there. And then I also got to give some love to Greg Morris Cards, who is yet again sponsoring an episode of Shea Station. Thank you to them. They're the most trusted sports card seller on the planet. They sell over 80,000 sports cards every month, which is over 2,000 a day exclusively on eBay. Last time I told you guys to go get your JD Davis baseball card. The value's up because he hit a grand slam. He had a great series, guys. They sell baseball cards from every era, pre-war, post-war, and modern. They trust GMC because his team hand grades every card that they sell. So buyers have been trusting Greg's grades for years. If Greg says the card is mint, the card is mint. So go to gregmorsecards.com to see their inventory. They want to give you $10 in free cards just for hearing about them from Jomboy Media. Go to their website now, find the cards that you want, and if you win your auction, message them with the code Jomboy to get $10 off your order. That is gregmorsecards.com. Last thing I want to say before we dive into the preview, especially with the Roogie and the Loogie here, I want to give some love to the Braves bullpen. Peter alluded to it a little bit before.
Good. I was going to ask. That was our last, before we touch on the starting pitchers and the matchups, we'll talk bullpen.
Jesse Chavez is a guy that I've thought about making a video about for a while. I think he's 39. He's about to be 39. He's been in the league for 15 years.
Do yourself a favor before you even finish this sentence. Go to Baseball Savant. Are you there right now?
I will check it out right now.
Check out his pitching percentage per year, like pitching percentage each year.
Pitching percentage.
How his pitch usage percentage.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it changes every year. Oh no,
it's it's absolutely unbelievable. I was going to bring it up today if we do anything about
king of reinvention. That's what
exactly
makes
what
him
I called
interesting
him.
to me.
It's funny. Call him the king of reinvention.
Yep.
One of my favorite teammates. Awesome dude. He has a sick old Lincoln, Continental that's just like my dream.
Awesome.
He's a SoCal guy, so he used to bring it to Anaheim. Super laid back. We played together on those really fun teams in Oakland. Just super fun, just doing things. He's like the glue piece to that bullpen who has just shut down back end kind of guys. AJ Minter stepping in has been so huge for you guys, I imagine. And then you have Old Balls and Darren O'Day doing his thing.
Dylan Lee, Jackson Stevens.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to touch on all
Cruz,
these guys.
Like whoever we bring up, it's just, I told Dylan Lee the other day, and Dylan Lee had a tough one yesterday, one pitch. And this is another thing that highlights how good the Braves bullpen has been, is we haven't had an outing where a reliever's come in and given up a home run and we've been like, oh man, that's the game. It's just been a run of everybody coming in and doing their job. And I said to him yesterday, I said, it's not supposed to be this easy. Like you can't just plot guys in wherever they want. There's no roles, Jerry. No one has a role. Like Minter's closing right now because Kenley's down, but apart from that, it could be anyone from the 4th to the 8th.
I mean, yeah, you look at the save totals. There's 3 for Minter, 5 for Will Smith, 2 for Jackson Stevens. Like, and it's not even like because they invested some money in this bullpen. They got Jansen. He's on the injured list, but he was good before he went. Colin McHugh was a big signing for him. He's been good, but the guys that are like sticking out.
So McHugh went on the COVID IL a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
came back. His first outing as a Brave was terrible. He admits it. He had nothing, no cutter, no slider, no nothing. Since then, he's been really good. Then he had another bad outing when he came back from COVID. But as far as numbers goes, he's had
he has like
2 or 3 blow-ups, and then the rest of the outings have been pretty good.
And that's reliever ERA is just unforgiving, so you can't really tell from surface level, I guess. But like Darren O'Day with an ERA under 4, 39 years old. Give me like Jesse Chavez, 38 years old. I love that Jesse Chavez went to the Cubs for 5 games. And then he was like, I got to go home. I got to go where it all started last year. Dylan Lee, 1.5 ERA. I believe he was the one that started a World Series game last year. Am I correct in saying that? Yeah, that was crazy. And then Matzik, he's back and he's healthy. So this is a very, very good Braves bullpen. Very consistent from top to bottom. I just want to give them some love.
You guys, again, your bullpen is fantastic, but you guys have a lot of guys with a lot of games. Like you got Will Smith in 37 games. Minter's already been in 40. Is this sustainable, especially with Will Smith, at 32, kind of pushing that age? Or do you have guys that like Dylan Lee, Matzik, how's he looked when he's come back? Colin McHugh, these guys that can fit those roles. Are you worried at all about overusage? Because it like Minter in 40 games already seems like a lot to me, as well as Will Smith in 37.
That's an 80 game pace, which is pretty standard for
that's
every
true.
other
I didn't
day.
look at it like that. Yeah, that's right.
So, but I think what's been great is the way they've managed. Like it's 2 in a row, maybe. I don't remember a guy honestly going 3 games in a row, which is a discussion we had, Jerry, during spring training. But I don't think, from memory, that I've seen a guy. Maybe Minter has gone 3 games in a row, but the other guys probably haven't. So as far as management goes, they've done a great job. We just looked at that yesterday. We used a ton of guys yesterday, but when you have starting pitching consistently throwing 6 or 7 innings like we had for the last couple of weeks, it sort of just allows the bullpen to have that rest period. So when they have games like yesterday and you've got to go 5 or 6 innings, they can do it. And then you got Max starting today, so he's going to hopefully do what Max does and protect the pen for another 7 or 8 innings.
Yeah, that's another thing Buck has been really good about this year. I think the only thing that really sticks out was when we used Adam Ottavino 3 days in a row, and he had that blow up. I think it was against the Braves,
He did. He had a blow up. It was his 3rd day in a row. But that was the only time we've done it all year. It didn't pay off, but he was the one that was like, I could go if you need me today. I want to go. I feel great. And he said, I felt great. I just sucked. Like it happens.
The Mets the Braves have a 40 gamer and a 37 gamer in their bullpen, but the Mets have Diaz at 36, Drew Smith at 33, Luga at 32, Otto at 35, Joely at 32. So those have been like the guys out of the bullpen that you see come around every single series. Everything else has been kind of in flux, but I think the bullpen management on our team has been pretty solid as of late, especially. But I think let's do our series probables. We alluded to it before.
Do you have one more thing, Peter, you wanted to add before?
I was just going to say a lot of those numbers came early on when we had a kink in our starting rotation. Didn't know the guys were coming in almost, having to come in the 5th inning almost every day. But
that was back when Strider was in the bullpen too.
Strider was in the bullpen. Yeah.
So this is the series preview, a 3-game set versus the Atlanta Braves. Very, very exciting right now. There's a lot to go. What are the Mets up in the standings right now?
1.5.
1.5 games. So this could literally swing one way or the other. Very exciting. Game 1, it's the battle of the Maxes. It is Max Scherzer, Mad Max himself, and his 2.26 ERA going up against Max Fried. I guess the other side would be Maximus Aurelius and his 2.52 ERA. Fried has gone 6+ with 2 earned runs or less in his last 4 starts. His last start on the 2nd of May or April, May, June, July. Wait, what do we got? What's 5? January, February, March, April, May. Yeah, May 2nd. He went 6, gave up 4 hits, 6 punchies, got the W against the Mets. Scherzer hasn't faced Atlanta this year. He allowed 4 runs in 12 innings pitched in 2021 against them. Ronnie Acuna is 7 for 20 with 2 home runs against Max Scherzer. Pete Alonso is 4 for 21 with 2 homers off Max Fried. That will be a battle. That pushes us to game 2. David Peterson and his 3.48 ERA against Spencer Strider, the Doc Holliday mustache, and his 2.6 ERA. Strider's last 3 starts looking pretty good. 18 innings pitched, 1 run, 8 hits, 3 walks, 30 punchies. 30, the highest strikeout per 9 of any non-qualified, but any starter in the game. Peterson hasn't allowed more than 3 earned runs at any of his last 4 starts. Matt Olson is 1 for 2 with a homer off Peterson in his career, and Brandon Nimmo is 1 for 2 with a homer against Strider. That is game 2. Game 3 is Chris Bassett finally getting a non-Miami start this month and his 3.94 ERA. He's going against old Uncle Charlie Morton and his 4.21 ERA, who had a rough start but has really turned it around in his last 5. He has 33 and 2 innings, 2/3 innings pitched, 6 earned runs. That's a 1.6 ERA, 42 punch outs to 8 walks. He's really turned it around. Bassett's return from the COVID list is 6 1/3, 2 earned runs, 6 hits, 3 Ks against Miami. Alonso does have some history against Charlie Morton. He's 4 for 10. Dom is 3 for 12 with a home run. Austin Riley 2 for 3 with a homer off Bassett, but that's it. You know that Matt Olson and Bassett have a little bit of a history together. Should be a fun series. Are these your 3 best starting pitchers lined up right now?
I would probably put Kyle Wright in equal third.
2.97. He's been good.
Equal third, or who are you taking out if this is your top 3? If you're setting up, if this is the playoffs.
If I'm setting playoffs, I'm probably going to put Strider in the bullpen, and I'm going to have Morton, Fried, and Wright go.
Wow, I like that actually. That's smart.
Then I'll
is
have Strider
is Strider going to be pushed back to the bullpen at some point?
I don't know. Okay. Full disclosure. I thought he was going to be a reliever.
Same.
When he came up, I was like, okay, that's power stuff. He's going to be great for, whatever relieving role you need him for. And then he comes out and he starts. And I'm like, oh, man, he's really good as a starter. He's dominant first time through. And even second time through, he's allowing a little bit more contact, but it's still just soft contact and a couple of foul balls, some fly balls, some weak it's that third time through that has been worrying me. But then I'm like, well, if he's going to be a 4th or 5th starter, you don't need him to go 7 innings every week. You just need him to cover 5, 6, get you through. So I don't know what the eventual plan is going to be. I just hope that whatever it is, that it sticks and he doesn't have to keep changing back and forth. Because I think that's when you start getting in trouble, and that's when you can sort of injuries can come.
Is there going to be an innings kind of limit on him?
That's what I was going to ask you.
So they might push him to the bullpen like at the end of August going into September. If they need another power arm back there, it might be strategic and also saving him innings, but who knows?
Could be. So he started all last year in the minor leagues. I think he made 21 starts last year, 140 something innings, I think last year.
Yeah, I got the numbers here if you want them.
Okay. Yeah, please.
Okay. So Strider currently is at 65 2/3 innings on the year. 19 games, 8 starts. His amateur high for innings is last year, 94 innings.
94. Okay. Cumulative. So that's going to be the question, honestly.
Do you trade for a starter and move Strider back to the bullpen? Do you
we have Soroka coming back, so that's the question too.
True.
We have Mike Soroka. That's right.
I forgot how many awesome humans you have on your team, not just good baseball players. I love. I Mets fans, I love the Braves team and the players that they have on their team. I'm never shied away from.
Want to hear, Jerry.
It's hard to have a rival. I think it's even better because I'm like sitting back going, good for Matt Olson. He got traded. I'm happy for him. He's in a good spot, but God, what are you doing?
Play him for 8 years.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
You've got great guys. The only caveat is I played with most of these guys, Jesse Chavez, Darren, Minter, all these guys. But when you wear the Braves uniform against the Mets, you become an enemy, and that's okay. Yeah. I don't have to view it as that. I am an impartial judge. I'm in, back here. I'm definitely rooting for the Mets. That's who who I associate with, but I like your team. You're not a villain. There's nobody coming in that I don't appreciate. I love Ronald Acuna. You're rocking an Acuna NASA-like shirt that I'm like, I need to get one of those. That is a fantastic shirt. He's one of the best superstars in the game. You can tell by him being voted first in. He had the most votes in the National League. He's not even having a great first half that you would want, coming off of an injury. He's fine, but that shows you his superstar status. You have a very likable, fun team to cheer for.
Yeah, that's what makes. And I get asked all the time, where was my favorite place to pitch? And my number one favorite place to pitch was Shea Stadium.
I remember this.
Yeah. So it's like my dad got to see me pitch there for the first time. 2 innings there in 2000. And it's just the memories that I have at Shea Stadium and the respect that I have for the Mets and Buck Showalter, especially what he's doing with that team. I think, honestly, that's been the probably best move that Cohen made.
Yeah.
That was the guy.
I mean, you look to the 2 guys before, 2 first-time managers managing a lot of young talent, like uncultured superstars in the making, and like you need a veteran presence there, and like having
more than a player
on your side is like
you need more than just that senior player who's going to be like, guys, this is the way we do things around here. You need that respected guy, the Don, and that you've got it now.
Yeah, he's I hadn't heard much about Snitker besides he was a lifer for the Braves.
Yeah.
I loved playing for him. I love Cranny. I love Walt Weiss. I love all the whole coaching staff.
Ron Washington, was he there for
Wash? You? Yeah. You've got Sal Fasano, eastbound and down himself out there. I don't know the bullpen guys. That's new. But
Drew French.
Yeah, I don't remember if he was there. I'm terrible with names and faces anyway. But you got a very, very likable team, a fun team to cheer for. This is going to be a fun series, man. Is there a hot bat? Is there one guy in this lineup that we should really be paying attention to? Because it's a super deep lineup. But is there a guy right now that you want to, or we're going to see and be like, man, he's on fire?
Well, I don't think you've seen this version of Dansby Swanson just yet. So it's been one of the greatest turnarounds that I've witnessed personally. He was looking like he was never going to make contact again for the first month. And he said it himself that he was just watch his at-bats and almost be physically sick. That's how bad he looked. And then he found something's clicked. His approach has changed. He's hitting for power. He's hitting for average. He's hitting 302 right now. He's made the All-Star team. That tells you everything you need to know. But you know what kind of a person he is too, Jerry. So talk about, just add another one to the list.
I know, just another All-American, very nice, likable boys. Like, he's just a good dude. Like, the team is full of really, like, that clubhouse. The Mets clubhouse right now is spectacular. I think Buck has facilitated that a lot. Francisco Lindor coming into his second year, Eduardo Escobar coming in. It seems like just a really fun place to be. That is 100% Atlanta's clubhouse. I
can't believe how well this has been set up.
I really appreciated Freddie. I liked him. He's one of the he's maybe the best. Him and Ichiro are the 2 best hitters I've ever faced. Him leaving, though, I think creates a new hierarchy in Atlanta, because he was the king dog, and letting him go. I was so against Atlanta. I wanted to root against them for letting him go elsewhere. Because I'm so loyal. He wanted to be there. I give him a 6th year. He wanted a 6th year. He deserved it. He just got you a World Series MVP. But your team is better now. Your team is better. It's crazy.
Everybody wanted to anoint a new king when Freddie left. And I was like, guys, it's got to happen on its own. It's got to happen. It doesn't need to be one person either. Yeah. It's like, you can have it. And now we're finding that it doesn't need to be one big leader yelling at everyone. It's everyone. It's just,
we, everybody always tries to give Pete Alonso the captain moniker. And I'm like, I like Pete. Pete's a great guy. He is the heart and soul of the Mets when we need him more than we need anybody else. We need his hot, driving and runs bat. I think he's an awesome guy, great person. But you don't just anoint that. Freddie became that guy. He was grandfathered in and he established himself, but you don't need a captain. Ronnie Acuna is not he's still 16 years old. He doesn't have to be the guy anymore, to be the captain, so to speak. Just, you have good people in there leading the team in the right way, doing their work. You have Ozzie and Dansby and all the guys out there working with Ron Washington every day, doing the little things. When you have a guy like Michael Harris II come up, he sees what it means to be a big leaguer and what it takes to do things right every single day. And he just steps right into that. You don't have to be told, you just do you do what everybody else is doing.
That's been the biggest change that I've noticed, is that, especially from the early days, is that everybody has a purpose in the clubhouse now. I would come to the clubhouse at 1 o'clock strictly just for food and to hang out with the boys. I wasn't working out. I didn't need to be there at 1 o'clock. I just wanted to be there at 1 o'clock to be around everybody and just to just hang out and have fun. Now, everybody's got something to do. They're always doing their jobs, or they're in there looking at video, or they're in the cage, or everybody has a purpose now. And it's so much more professional, which sounds funny because it's always been professional, but I just feel like the level of work ethic now from everyone is just next level.
So we have a little group chat where you sent us the Sal Licata. The NL East is over. Now you guys are a game and a half back. You're playing incredible baseball. We have a 3-game set here.
I did send that, didn't I?
How did they think that was a good idea?
And this is what baseball is. This is what 162 games provides. It allows a team to find their identity and run away with it. The Mets have shown some vulnerability, and the Braves have figured out their winning formula. This is going to be a fun race all the way to the end. It should be a really exciting series. We have, Ron, Keith, and Gary in the booth, but I'm going to be flipping back and forth on my app because I can't wait to hear you calling the game, man.
Here's what we should do. We should just knock down the wall between the two booths and just combine.
Together. Why
not?
We
should just combine. This is what we need to do. Right.
Great.
Yeah, I can't wait either, man.
Especially if Frenchie's there. He's a former Met too.
He's not
Frenchie's
there though.
Not there. That's why I'm in the booth. He's gone. He's doing the TBS game on Tuesday.
Is it just you and Chip?
No, me, BJ, and Chip.
Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, wow. That's going to be great.
Peter, I don't know if you saw it. The Braves just did a trade. I don't think it's any crazy stuff, but they traded for the 35th pick in the draft on Sunday. Drew Waters, Andrew Hoffman to the Royals.
Drew Waters and Andrew Hoffman
to the Royals.
Wow. Drew Waters, look that name up, dude. He's been he's been top 3 prospect in the Braves organization that's going to be really good for him. That's going to be, he might go straight to the big leagues, honestly.
Has he been ready? Yeah, he looks like
he's just been hurt. He's dealt with an injury, it feels like, every single year. He's never been able to get that full. I think this might be the jump start for him. But I hope this is a catalyst for another trade. When I heard the Royals and the Braves, I was hoping that we might get like
Whit Merrifield or something like that. Andrew Benintendi.
We're going to LA for the All-Star festivities as a company with Jomboy. Maybe we can hop on for a little bit together, recap this kind of series, and give a kind of State of the Union. I think we should be able to touch base again.
I will come back anytime.
Beautiful. Love it. You're the man. My brother from another mother.
That's right.
I'm so excited. I'm gonna sharpen my Mario Kart skills.
Oh, that's important.
Passon just texted that we just increased. What does he say? Before the trade, so the Braves had the 19th highest bonus pool in the draft. Yeah, 2.2 million slot.
So this seems like a fiscal decision.
Now we are 10th with a 10.2 million.
Not bad.
Jesus,
Braves doing Braves things.
Some eyes on it. Well.
Game one is big tonight. I think
that's exactly my point. And that's, you guys have won a lot of game ones. We've won a lot of game ones.
That's been our game this year. Yeah.
We've had a chance to sweep the last 3 series in a row. We've just swept the last one. We get off to hot starts. You guys get off to hot starts. But this is going to be. But I again, if you don't win today, it certainly doesn't mean that the series is over. But if we win today,
but beating Max Fried is a big thing. Yeah.
You guys got to him last time too. You remember you guys scored 4 runs in the first inning, whatever it was, but there was a plan of attack, and then he was able to adjust, and he shut you guys down for I think 4 or 5 innings or 5 innings. But we'll see. I
mean, Mets have struggled against lefties all year. I think getting the win for Scherzer, who didn't get the win in Cincinnati, like game 1, I think is the one that I'm focusing on.
By the way, Scherzer looked like Max Scherzer. He kind of eased into the season a little bit, but he was coming off that oblique. I was a little bit worried. He probably won't pitch a full allotment. He'll be probably 90, 95 pitches. He looked every bit as Max.
Yeah.
So he's also, just a little side note, he's probably in the back of his mind after his last outing here, got a little bit of a bone to pick.
A couple home runs hit off him, right?
It's just not a good ending to the series for him.
Yeah. The Truist Park got him a little bit.
A little sweaty, little tropical down here. It's a little more humid.
Dude, it's so hot in Atlanta.
It's so sticky right now too, man. It's like it rains every day. It's like
I was in DC and I was like, man, this is hot. And then I signed with the Braves and I'm like, oh my God, this is another level. It's crazy. And then you just got people in the outfield just living their life, the great fans. That ballpark is awesome. This will be fun, man. It'll be electric. One of my favorite things is when they shut the lights off, when the visiting bullpen guys running in. It was, I think I might've been the test subject on the first time they're running in. I'm warming up. They turn the lights off. I'm warming up. They haven't turned the lights back on. I'm throwing pitches in the dark after the game. Can we get the lights back on when I get to the infield so I could see the catcher?
What year was that?
What was the first year of Truist Park?
16.
Yeah, so it must have been 16 because I'm running out and the lights go off. I'm like, and then so I keep going. They never came back on until like they throw the ball around to start the inning. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Here we go.
Wild. All right, buddy. Thank you for being on. Peter Moylan. What do you got? Let's give us a little bit of what you got on Jomboy. Promote today. What's your Twitter handle? All that.
Farm to Fame today. I'm about to record in about 10 minutes. And then that comes out on Wednesdays with Kelsey Wingert.
Kelsey,
the All-Star game.
Tell her I said hello. I can't. She's coming to LA, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah, I think we're all going to be. I don't know what it's going to be so much fun again.
Is Farm to Fame blowing up as much as it seems because everybody is now deeper in touch with their like minor league system because of technology and stuff? Yeah. I feel like Farm to Fame is on its way up.
It also helps me because I get a glimpse of what's coming next before they really hit. So it's educated me more with the rookies because it was something that I didn't really pay attention to, especially in the minor leagues.
Never want to look behind.
Right. Now it's because you can, and they're relying so heavily on younger guys now too, because there's a rookie getting called up every couple of weeks now. So we need to know who these guys are because they're going to be here soon.
Are you at Peter Moylan on Twitter?
I am.
I love it. Great Twitter follow. Again, if you're feeling, I don't think you're allowed if you're in the New York area to swap back and forth, but it'll be worth a shot. I'll definitely be cheating on our SNY broadcast a little bit to check it out. Thank you so much for coming on, buddy.
My pleasure. I love you guys. I can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks or in a week now. Holy cow.
Hell yeah. It's creeping up.
I have to book my flight to New York as we speak, as you reminded me. It's coming up.
That's why I'm here. Roogie Loogie.
All right. Roogie and the Loogie. Thank you. This is Shea Station. For Jolly Olive, for Peter Moylan, I am Jerry Blevins. Thank you for tuning in, and let's go Mets.
Go Mets.
Let's go Braves.
Alonso to his left, flip to the ground, and the ball